Of the bride, Michael Ball.
Good evening, everybody. As Lucinda's dad, I welcome you all to the North Witcher Golf Club to this wedding breakfast. To Lynn and myself, thank you for coming to celebrate the wedding of our most loved daughter, Lucinda, to Eamon. I know many of you have come a long way from Balmain. Crossing 2 bridges to get here. And I understand it's pretty usual for you Balmain folks to wander outside your beloved suburb. Or as I found out tonight, the peninsula. Well, we hope you enjoy some Northwich hospitality this evening and trust it is worth crossing 2 bridges to sample it. Others have come from Brisbane, Surfers Paradise, Barrel, Central Coast, and Lucinda and Eamon are so pleased you have made this trip to celebrate their wedding with them. Lucinda has been planning this wedding for months, and with her artistic traits, she's made this day one really to remember. Just looking at the tables, they all look terrific. And although she's losing the name of Ball tonight, I see that she's got some ball preservation jars on the table, so that it'll be always something to remind her of. Also, I thought that the invitation was the best I've ever seen, but then you know I'm biased. As you know, she had a couple of extra months planning because the original Keep This Date Free was delayed because Peter wasn't so well. So it's nice and great to see Peter here to celebrate Eamon's wedding. I was so proud to take Lucinda down the aisle today, and I'm sure you'll agree with me and Lynn how beautiful she looked. It was truly a beautiful service at St Augustine's, and Father Joe made everyone feel welcome, and he conducted a beautiful service. I guess last week's rehearsal, where we all got our specific riding instructions about when to do this and when to do that and when to click, 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 photo opportunity. It was just a pity that the candles didn't behave themselves tonight. He certainly must have done a lot of rehearsals because he knew exactly what to say. St Augustine's has served the Lees family for over half a century since they moved into the area in 1964. And it was great that Eamon was able to keep up the tradition and get married there today. Lucinda is our only daughter, and I've often told her she was my favourite daughter. And you can imagine she soon learnt how to use this favouritism to satisfy her wishes. With her usual charm, she asked me to be Santa Claus to the children of her preschool at Christmas time. I can't imagine why she picked me to be Santa. I think it was so she didn't have to hire a white beard. Well, everything turned out okay and there were no tears. And the little ones believed that I was Santa Claus because they couldn't pull my beard off. But there was one mishap during the afternoon. Lucinda, she was Santa's helper, and she was handing me the presents from Santa's bag, and instead of calling me Santa, she called me Dad. Well, just like Basil in 40 Towers when he mentioned the war, I think we got away with it. We filled a few 3-year-olds. But when I looked up at some of the parents there, I saw them having funny looks, and I thought, I think they're going to have trouble explaining this on the way home. So I gather Lucinda would have to do a lot of explaining to children as well what this means and what that means. But it reminds me of little Susie, who went to the dad and said to the dad, "Dad, how did the human race start?" Anyway, so Dad said, "Well, God created Adam and Eve, and that's how it all started." Well, anyway, the next morning, Susie went back to Dad and said, Dad, I'm all confused. You told me that God created the human race. I've been talking to Mummy, and she said we come from monkeys. Anyway, Dad said, "Oh, that's simple. That's simple, Susie. I was talking about my side of the family. She was talking about hers." Anyway, my apprenticeship, I was a bit nervous about saying that one with him sitting next to me. At least there wasn't a knife on the table. Anyway, my apprenticeship at Santa must have worked because I've been invited to do the gig next year as well. Lucinda's been a terrific daughter to the family, and her dedication to her autistic brother Alexander from a very early age bears this out. I think that this apprenticeship trained her well in her preschool career. At her preschool Christmas party, where I was a reluctant Santa, I saw firsthand how good she is with the little ones, just like she is with Alexander. Each time Alexander sees Lucinda, he hijacks her to play his word games. They just love each other. As parents, we're so lucky that Alexander was between a very loving brother, Nicholas, and Lucinda. And I believe Lynn's influence on Lucinda in handling Alexander moulded her to become a very compassionate person. She's a terrific daughter to me and Lynn, and a terrific sister to Nicholas and Alexander. And Lynn and myself are so pleased to have a daughter after our two sons, as she brought so much joy to the whole family. Wonderful times together, and from a very early age, she well and truly kept us on our toes. She was blessed our family with many happy memories, and we're reminded of these with the photos around our home. And each photo of Lucinda shows a spark in her nature with a little bit of attitude. No doubt Eamon has seen some of this already, and you look forward to an interesting life together. We've managed it for 31 years, now it's your turn. Lucinda, as you can see, has also got a lot of very good friends, and loyal to them as they have been loyal to Lucinda. I only have to mention Darren the driver, Robbie the driver plus his car, Shane for the hair, Sarah for the cake, the beautiful cake, Joel for the music, and Simon handling the MC. And I know she organised other people to do some work in the church before we arrived as well. So it's really lovely to see Lucinda with all the friends enjoying themselves tonight. Now let's get to Eamon. I was careful not to mention the wrong boyfriend's name, as I've heard other fathers of the bride do that in their speeches. I guess after 10 years I have his name hardwired into my brain. And I mean just the name Eamon, and not what we saw on the invitation, Eamon, Cyril, Frederick, John, Luke, which was new to a lot of you as well. Eamon has come from a very loving family and close family, and we saw from an early age how Eamon loved and cared for Lucinda, and both Lynn and myself believe this to be the most important part of any marriage. We welcome Eamon to our family as well as the extended family. The only thing I'm jealous about with Eamon was that when I was a little boy I wanted to be a pirate, and I wanted to have an earring and a tattoo. That my mum's not here, because she always used to reminded me about this choice of a career, you know. Now it's time for advice from an experienced married man who served 48 years sentence. I can offer two pieces of advice, Eamon. Firstly, don't leave your shoes around the floor where your wife can trip over them. And if you're ever going to start playing bridge, don't have your wife as a partner. Because it nearly brought me down. I noticed Eamon was clever enough to pick a day to be married on so that he won't forget his anniversary. What a great start to married life. What a clever man you are. Today I am the father of the bride, but 34 years ago on St Valentine's Day I was the best man to my good mate Peter Hawkins, and they got married 35 years ago, and it's happy anniversary to Peter and Kathy. Well, Eamon, I have no more advice for now, but both Lynn and myself wish you a very long and happy marriage together, and it is now my great pleasure to propose a toast to the happy and loving couple. Please be upstanding and raise your glasses to Mr. and Mrs. Leith.
Mr. and Mrs. Leith.
Thank you very much, Michael.